Alrighty then. So it's a live QA session. Got some questions prepared, haven't we?
Yes.
And Trin's gonna read them out to me, and I'm gonna answer them. I'll try my best to answer them.
So first question, when did you start creating your game?
So I started creating my game in last year in summer. So I think it was around August time of 2019. Never done game development or coding or anything like that previously. So I just decided one day from work, when I came back home from work, just to do something completely different. And I thought, why not game development? So I looked into different game engines, looked at Unity, Unreal. That was about it. I saw like Unreal was for, 3D games more, like Fortnite, stuff like this. And I was like, nope, don't want to do anything like that. And then I saw Unity, they made Hollow Knight and Cuphead and all these kind of 2D games. So I thought that would be best for me. Then I looked on some YouTube tutorials, mainly brackies, and then just went from there.
So, are you working on Haiku alone?
Yeah, I'm working on Haiku alone at the moment. Probably won't do the music, because making music is very hard. But all the pixel art, animation, development, all of that's done by myself, yeah.
So how did you get the inspiration for Haiku?
To be honest, I don't really know. I just kind of drew this kind of small little robot guy. And then that's when all the kind of inspiration started coming in. Like I was thinking, okay, this guy can live in like a post-apocalyptic world, something similar to like the Matrix. That was what's going through my mind, where it's like viruses and programs that have, kind of going around, and it's only machines left, like humans aren't. Well, in the Matrix, the humans are used for energy, but like in this world, there'll be basically no humans left. So like all of this stuff just kind of started rolling in as soon as I actually drew the little fella.
Is Haiku going to be a PC game?
Most probably, just because it's quite easy to develop it on a PC and then therefore make it into a PC game. But I also want to really focus on bringing it out on console as well. So Xbox, PS4 maybe, Nintendo Switch, those sort of things.
So do you think the hardest times with your game have passed or they are still to come?
They're definitely still to come. I've planning these sort of bosses and these boss fights is still quite a daunting task for me, so it's quite hard still. But yeah, and then there's a map, there's power-ups, there's collectibles, there's all sorts of stuff. So it's definitely it's gonna take time, and there's definitely more challenges ahead. That's for sure.
Any advice for those who are unsure how to start a video game project?
I would say just do it. Just first of all, if you don't know what to do, start off small. Go to YouTube, look at tutorials, just small tutorials, like nothing too crazy. Have a go, see if you like it. I would even say now, perhaps looking back in hindsight, is you should try different game engines. Like maybe you do one tutorial on Unity, one tutorial on, I don't know, Game Maker Studio or something, and then just see which one you like best. And for me, I started off quite small, like doing small games, small projects, and I felt like that really helped me to learn how to code, learn the game engine Unity, and also in the meantime, you still have to do like pixel art and art assets and all of this stuff. Plus you have to do music, plus you have to actually wrap up the game, so that means there's like a lot of polish that goes into it, which actually takes up probably half of the time. So all of this stuff is all good experience, so I definitely recommend doing smaller stuff first before you move on to big stuff.
But how do you start making pixel
How did I start making pixel art?
Or how one can start?
Or how one can start? Okay, so I started. I think the first piece I ever did was like way back in like 2014. Like it's the only other piece I've done since last summer, and it was when Fez released and I was so inspired by the pixel art in that game. I just kind of copied it and then interpreted it in sort of different style, but then I just didn't touch pixel art for like 5 more years after that. But to be honest, it's just you. The best way I find it is to look up for a lot of references and then just copy them, so to say. But you don't copy them. You just study them. So you like look, how does that person use pixels? Like what colors does he use? What sort of lines has he used? All of this kind of stuff, and then you just kind of adapt it to whatever you're trying to do.
So, tips on doing pixel art and tips for beginners.
Yep. So tips for beginners: look up a lot of references. Like I said before, copy people's style, so to say, or maybe not style, but techniques, and apply it to your style. If you don't have a style yet, just try stuff, until you find some sort of balance that you like and you're happy with. Watch a lot of tutorials on YouTube. There's a bunch of tutorials from Mort that are superb. They really help understand kind of the limitations of pixel art and what you should and shouldn't do. So yeah, those are my tips.
I just discovered your work and I fell in love with it. What inspires you in your art?
I don't know what inspires me, but I guess putting it on Instagram and social media, and you guys kind of like it. That helps me a lot, and it keeps me motivated. And seeing other artists on Instagram as well, like it's quite inspiring, and that kind of ties back into what I was talking about earlier about how when you look at other people's work and you try and take elements from their work and apply it to yours, I think that actually comes from being inspired by their work.
So, Instagram or Twitter?
Okay, so I personally prefer Instagram for pixel art, although there's a massive pixel art community on Twitter. But the Twitter does this weird thing with the pictures where it just crops them randomly, and I don't know. I don't like it. I prefer Instagram for photo. But on Twitter, I do like posting small clips of my game development and just like progress. So Instagram is kind of my more polished stuff, and Twitter is more raw, my more halfway through development stuff.
So, how do you grow a game devlog account in Instagram?
I've had this asked a lot by a lot of people. I mean, I don't know if what I'm doing is good or not, so take this with a grain of salt. But mainly what I suggest is you look at what you can realistically produce, versus so for me, I would do probably 3 posts a week, which I can put some certain level of quality into. But for other people, that might be once a week, that might be once a month. It really depends on the kind of quality that you're producing. Because I think the most important thing for Instagram is to put quality content. It's not just to put spam out there and just loads of hashtags and try and get followers. So quality content, again, try and find out your schedule. Do you have time to do 3 posts a week? Perhaps it's 2 posts a week, perhaps it's 1 post. With the hashtags, don't go crazy. I usually try to keep it to 15 or 20, although you're maximum allowed of 30. and put hashtags that are relevant. Don't put hashtags that don't match the content, because otherwise people who are viewing those hashtags aren't gonna like your content because it's not relevant. So Instagram algorithm will probably pick up on that and just not show people your work with that hashtag. Also, just be like real. Just be like a real person, you know? Like, don't be spammy and don't be like a robot. Just be yourself, be your fun self. Do make quirky little stories or whatever. And that's it, I would say.
So how do you keep up with both programming and pixel art?
Well, I think, or I have this feeling, that you're meant to start with programming first and then do all the art assets after. But for me personally, that just doesn't really work, because I like to visually see already what I've done. And I can't just see like in Unity just these boxes and boxes jumping around and stuff. Like I want to kind of see the game flesh out, you know, like quicker. So for me, I kind of do the animations and pixel art in hand with the development. So when I need to develop something, or I'm halfway through developing something, then I'll quickly jump over to like Sprite and finish like some sort of animation that I need in order to continue in the development. So it's kind of like they go both hand in hand. I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing, but that's just the way I work.
So as a last question, what else do you do outside of the game development?
Well, I work. I have a full-time job. So this is kind of just a hobby and a passion project at the moment. Other than that, then I used to ride a BMX, but since I moved to this cold country, don't really do that anymore. Also make pizzas occasionally. We quite like making pizzas, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I used to draw quite a bit. But to be honest, this is kind of what I do. This is it. I don't think I really do much else. Maybe play the odd video game, maybe watch Netflix and chill, you know, like normal people stuff as well. But yeah, I like doing this. I try to do just like a little bit every day, even if it's like, you know, some simple UI sort of elements or whatever.
Thank you. Thank you for lovely answers.
No, I hope people find this useful. It's like 12 minutes long, but anyway, we'll see.